Hello and welcome back to the Note. Well, trading has ended for the day after a wild and weary session, and things are only likely to get wilder and wearier because we've since had the text for Janet Yellen's speech tonight, in which she makes it clear that she believes she can raise rates before the end of this year. That amplifies the message we'd heard from a number of other Fed governors so far this week, but it's very much not what people had been assuming after the Fed controversially decided not to raise rates last week. The odds of a rate rise are currently put at around about 40% by futures markets. This is likely to have an effect. As for what we saw today, there was a continued aggressive sell-off of stocks across the world, particularly in Europe. That was driven in some part by growth concerns over China. It was also driven obviously by the scandal over Volkswagen, which continues to spread to other automakers, and it's also driven by the concerns, the great problems for Glencore. But I think the critical issue came from Caterpillar. Big maker of construction equipment the world over, it's regarded as a canary in the coal mine for the global economy. It produced a gloomy prognosis for the future. That amplified news we'd had earlier in the week from Komatsu of Japan. A very similar company also makes the big construction equipment you need for infrastructure projects. This was seen by many in the market as confirming that there are real problems for global growth emanating primarily but not solely from China, and the story is clear enough from what's happened to their shares. A very pronounced fall off, very great concern. Here in the States, we saw a very alarming sell-off at first, which was partially reversed by the close. But perhaps the biggest drama was in Brazil. This is what's happened to the real. And that snapback you see today, which saw the real gain more than 5% against the dollar, is the real's strongest day since the crisis month of October 2008. In fact, it's only the fourth time that the real has gained that much in any one day since it was allowed to float freely in 1999. Now, partly that was because Brazil is acutely exposed, obviously, to China, worries about growth, and so it had been particularly aggressively sold. There was a reason to believe it was oversold, but mainly it's because the central bank came out and said it was prepared to intervene, even including selling foreign exchange reserves to try to prop up the currency. That gives you that dramatic slap back in the real. This is a situation that demands to be watched more broadly. There are great concerns about global growth now. It's not clear how justified they are, and there are also concerns over exactly how central banks will react to them. It's a fascinating, if rather alarming, finely poised time.